right, welcome to the school board meeting of Independent School District number 271. I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask that all of us stand and pledge allegiance to the United States flag. Okay. I just have a little something to read here. It's an honor that our new board members were elected to guide the education of our community's children. As you recite the oath of office, you assume a tremendous responsibility as the director of our school district with the duties empowered by the Minnesota legislature. As board members, we serve as education's key advocate on behalf of students and our community schools to advance the vision for our schools. We must strive to work together with the superintendent and staff to lead the district toward fulfilling the vision we have created, fostering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skills and knowledge, citizenship, and personal development. I would like to ask the new board members to stand over here for the oath of office. And David Holman will issue that oath.
Congratulations. I'm sure by next year you'll have second thoughts. And administer the oath, so please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
I affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
And of this state.
and of this state,
And that I will discharge faithfully the duties
and that I will discharge faithfully the duties
of the office of school board member
of the office of school board member
of Independent School District 271
in Independent School District 271
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
Congratulations. I'm going to have you sign this as soon as you sit down. Yeah, thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
Is there anyone that wants to take a quick picture?
They see us every day.
But not dressed up like this.
You can just give me your John Hancock on.
I guess I gotta wait for him to be the notary.
I'm here. I'm watching.
Do I need a special pen?
Very quickly, I want to make sure that I get these duties taken care of. As far as the roll call, all of our members are present. If our new board members would like, just take a moment to lean in, not too far into the mic, introduce yourself to all these members of the public here.
Thank you.
Just tell us.
Hello, I'm Tom Bennett. Good to meet you all. Thanks for all coming out.
I'm Jim Sorum. It's good to be here.
I'm Dawn Steigoff.
And I'm Rick Oliva.
So this is the new face of the 2014 school board. Now let's move on to the oath of office.
We just did that.
I'm sorry, the election of officers.
I'll take over from here. According to school board policy, my role as superintendent is to facilitate the election of a new board chair. So I'll start that by asking for a nomination for the office of school board chair.
Mr. Superintendent, I'd like to nominate Dick Bergstrom.
Thank you. Your second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I'll call for vote. Please show your approval of that motion by raising your right hand. It's unanimous, so congratulations, Chair Bergstrom. I'll turn the meeting back to you.
Thank you. All right. We'll move on to the position of vice chair. We'll ask for a nomination for that position. Are there any nominations? Director Sorum.
Mr. Chair, I nominate Maureen Bartolotta. I'll second that.
Are there any other nominations?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to nominate Nelly Korman.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, so we have 2 so far. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? The reason I'm asking is we're required to ask 3 times. All right, well, we'll just go in order of nominations. Those wishing to vote for Maureen, signify by raising your hand. All right.
Get a roll call vote on that, would you?
Yep.
Yes. All right. We'll go for a roll call. We'll start with Don. Vote for Maureen. We're looking for a vote for Maureen.
No.
Aye.
No.
Aye.
No.
Aye. So there are 4 for Maureen. All right. I guess protocol asks that we take a vote for Nelly. Again, we'll start with you, Don.
Aye.
No.
Aye.
No.
No? I'm
Aye.
sorry, that was out of order.
Aye.
No.
No. So it's 4-3, unless my math is incorrect. And that would be 4 for Maureen. Okay.
In the future, if you get multiple candidates, you could go through once and have everyone say who they're voting for.
Oh, there you go.
If nobody gets a majority, however, have to keep going.
And there's an easier way to do this, huh? We don't need to drag it out.
Not necessarily, but
Okay, my math tells me that we have 4 for Maureen. Okay, now we move on to the position of clerk. Are there any nominations for clerk?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I'd like to nominate Jim Sorum for clerk. I'll second that.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Okay, let's vote by a show of hands. That one was unanimous. All right, now we're going to move to treasurer. Do we have a nomination for treasurer? Yes.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to nominate Nelly Korman for treasurer.
Okay. Do we have any other nominations? I'm sorry, I'm
I'll
looking for a
second
second.
Nelly Korman for treasurer.
Motion and a second. And do we have any other nominations? Any other nominations? All right, now we move to vote. Let's see, a vote with a show of hands for treasurer, for Nelly. All right, unanimous. My eyes work and my math is solid. All right, congratulations to this year's officers.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
just want to bring something to our attention before we continue, if that's okay.
sure.
When it comes to Policy 202, election of officers and school board election. We have a policy that is our district's policy that our superintendent, if the chair is not present and during the first meeting, then our superintendent is the convener for the convener for the first meeting, right, before the chair is elected. But also there's also a guidance made by MSBA about this and about how the procedures should go. And last year, I remember we kind of talked a little bit about that during organizational meeting too, and we talked about maybe revisiting the policy. So I just want to bring that to our attention for next year, for next time we have this same procedure.
Okay?
Okay? I think it's something we need to look at because it's what MSBA is suggesting that we do.
Sure.
And, you know, both policies are different. So it's just something to look at.
Okay, great. Maybe we can
Work
catch
on.
up after the meeting. And yes,
We
Superintendent?
need to appoint the deputy clerk.
Aye, yes. So the deputy clerk needs to be appointed, and that position is typically,
By Rod Zipkovich, our business manager.
yes, typically filled by Rod Zivkovich, our business manager. And so we need somebody to appoint.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to nominate Rod Zipkovich as our deputy clerk.
Second?
All right, motion and seconded. Show of hands voting for Rod Zivkovich. All right, that looks unanimous, Rod. Congratulations. If you haven't noticed already, folks, this is my first time around as chair, so bear with me. Okay. Just had a heads up from the booth, myself excluded. If you would all make sure that you lean forward and speak into the microphone. I'm sure they're telling me to push the microphone away. Okay, next we're going to move to approve the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move approval of the agenda.
Okay, have a motion?
A second.
Seconded. All right, this particular agenda is longer than normal because we're going to take care of some business functions with this meeting, so. I'm sorry, all in favor of approving the agenda?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay. All right, now we're going to move on to the recognition of students, staff, and public. The first thing on our agenda, which is Roman numeral 6, for those of you keeping score in the audience or at home, is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I have a proclamation that I'd like to read.
Mr. Chair, can I
Yes.
move the resolution?
Yes.
Be it resolved that the School Board of Independent School District 271 approves the attached proclamation recognizing January 20th, 2014 as Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All right, are we needing,
You can read the proclamation.
okay. All right, and now I'll read this proclamation. Whereas the Bloomington Public Schools join our nation in recognizing January 20th, 2014 as Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and whereas Bloomington recognizes that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s life and work reflected the importance of making America a place where equality and justice, freedom and peace could grow and flourish. Therefore, be it resolved that the Bloomington Board of Education, Independent School District Number 271, Bloomington, Minnesota, does hereby proclaim January 20th, 2014 as Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and asks all citizens of Bloomington to remember and reflect on the principles of racial equality, nonviolent social change espoused by Martin Luther King Jr., and to rededicate themselves to the philosophy that we can all share the dream for a better life, not only in Bloomington, but also in the world. Dated this 13th day of January 2014. All right. We need a vote for this. So, all those in favor of accepting this proclamation? Say
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Tonight, the proclamation will be accepted by Human Rights Commissioner Dennis Kane and a Youth Commissioner, Whitney Patterson, who is also a Jefferson student.
Thank you, Chairman Bergstrom, and school board members, Superintendent Fujitaki, and cabinet members and listening audience here and at home. It is my pleasure to be with you this evening and in the company of our esteemed Youth Commissioner, Whitney Patterson. We together are receiving this document in great gratitude for what Martin Luther King has done for us. Even to say his name, it speaks the words. There are no higher words that we could speak in human rights, in our lexicon of human rights. And I welcome Commissioner Whitney Patterson.
Both Dennis and I are very honored to be here tonight to accept this award. Like Dennis said, it's just completely amazing everything that Martin Luther King Jr. did for us and for equal rights in the United States. And I think that it's very important that we honor him and recognize him on the 20th every year, and we remember it's not just a day off for school. It has meaning to it, and it's very important to us. Thank you.
All right, and next on the agenda, we'd like to recognize a friend of the district. The school district is fortunate to have businesses and organizations supporting our learners and the community of Bloomington. In appreciation of these collaborative efforts, the school board recognizes our friends of education. I'd like to invite Sue Martell, a volunteer connection placement specialist, to come forward and please introduce our friend for this evening, St. Michael's Lutheran Church.
Thank you very much. It is my privilege and honor to work with the wonderful partners that Bloomington has that support our learners. And tonight, I'd like to introduce someone who I've known for a bit, and she is a member of St. Michael's Lutheran Church here in Bloomington and has been for several years. Her role there, one of her many roles, is to be the outreach and missions coordinator, which is her goal is to connect people to missions locally and globally. And they have done that since 2008 when they made a mission of their faith community to have the Georgetown Park Homework Club. And they've done a wonderful job reaching out to our families and our community and our students. I have a good friend and someone who knows Sue also, and this is what she told me what Sue is. Sue is an active St. Michael's member, and she has the heart for missions, a positive attitude, and works tirelessly for the benefit of others. So please let me introduce Sue Timmerman.
Wow. Good evening. Thank you, Chairman Bergstrom, school board members, cabinet, and those listening and those here tonight. I appreciate your being here, and thank you on behalf of St. Michael's for this recognition. We thank God for the opportunity we've had to share his love in a tangible way by helping with homework, building friendships, and just having fun with the kids of Georgetown Park over the past 5 years. And we are also very thankful to the owners of the Georgetown Park apartment homes, Lease, the property manager, for their space that they've given us and the vision that they've had to make their community a better place, and the joy it's been to be part of that dream. It's a really unique and special partnership we have between a church, a business, and a school. This began several years ago when a number of members of us from St. Michael's took a class called School of Urban Ministry, now called Mission Shift Institute in downtown Minneapolis, where we were learning about the changing needs of the urban environment and the changing needs of the metro area. We sat and wondered, what would we do with this information? One of our class members lived in the Georgetown Park community and said, well, we could start by visiting where I live. And so we did by starting with playing kickball, having popsicles available, and just getting to know the kids, the neighbors, and the families. At the same time, the community, the property managers were looking at ways to better their community and do something for the kids. And our two interests collided in happy circumstances that became Kids Club, where they offered us a space and we provided the volunteers. Our first meeting was with one of the district liaisons whose advice was, do what you can consistently. And that has been our goal, is to be as consistent as possible with the kids and to be that consistent, caring adult in the community. During our first week was in April of 2008, and we had 4 volunteers ready to go for all these kids who were going to come over, and one child came. He got lots of attention. Then the next week he brought his friend, and we had 2. The following week we had 4, and then from then on it continued to grow. Over the years we've had close to 100 children come through our program, 25 different volunteers, and we've had such fun with building relationships with them. A number of our volunteers are right here. A few of them have come, and they've been very consistent, reliable, fun, flexible. One of our volunteers, Tom, here in the front, often says that he came wanting to do something for the kids, and they've done more for him. And I would completely agree. That has been great joy with the hugs that we receive. Someone asked, do we notice a measurable difference in what happens with the kids? And we don't have any concrete metrics that we measure other than that they come week after week after week. And to us, that is really important. I'm sure you're familiar with the proverb, the Chinese proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, when I was growing up, my grandma's proverb was, you can never have too many people loving your kids. I've been blessed through the years of experiencing that through the Bloomington schools with our kids, through teachers, coaches, scouting leaders, and I've always appreciated the importance that Bloomington schools have put on partnering with the community and the position and the significance they put on volunteers. And I appreciate that. That comes from the top down, and I appreciate that of the school board, that you do that. Thank you for Sue Martell for the work you do in volunteers and placing volunteers. We at St. Michael's hope to continue our partnership, not just with Georgetown, but expanding and doing even more with our schools and being an integral part of our community. Thank you for all you do for the schools, the students, the teachers, and our community. We pray God's blessings on you as you begin your work this next year, and we look forward to what's ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. And on behalf of the school board, we thank our friends for their generous support of education, our students, staff, families, and the community of Bloomington. And the logo from each of your organizations has been placed on the back wall. Next, we have the holiday cards. And we're looking for Alexandra Loosebrook. Am I getting the name right? All right. Alexandra, if you want to come on up. And I'm sorry, Principal Andy Kubas, sitting in the back there. And anyone else that comes from Valley View, come on. If you want to come on up. On behalf of the school board, I'd like to thank Alexandra and her crew tonight, the Valley View Elementary Art Specialist, for having your students provide the original art for the 2013 holiday cards. They were sent out by the superintendent and the school board members, and we should be seeing, yes, you should be seeing examples of those. And my hand was tired, but I know I had a great big smile when I looked at all these cards and signed them.
Thank you. The kids at Valley View, they were really excited and proud of their work that they were doing for this, and that their school's name was on the inside of the card, and I was honored as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any? the next on our agenda are the TIES Exceptional Teachers. I'm going to try and do my best for the names here. I'm looking at Christy Wabama and Megan Ahlberg. Did I put the emphasis on the right syllable? The annual TIES Technology Conference was held in December, and 2 of our Bloomington staff members were honored as exceptional teachers for their efforts in bringing technology to the classroom. And with them tonight is Sean Beaverson, is our technology integration coordinator.
Thank you very much, Chair Bergstrom, Superintendent Fujitaki, Cabinet. Can you hear me? Up, lift it up. Sorry. Should I start over? I'm not going to. It's a great honor that I get to be here and read into the record a little bit about both of these people. First, I'm going to start with Megan. Megan was honored as the TIES Exceptional Teacher because of her willingness to pioneer teaching and learning strategies supported by technology. Megan teaches math at Kennedy High School. About 2 years ago, she started an exploration in the model of flipped teaching. I've seen her struggle through fits and starts in that, but she believes in the benefits of personalized learning and so continues to come back to that work. The genius of her approach that I've witnessed is that she remains squarely focused on her students, and the technology is as invisible as possible. It doesn't always work, but when it works, it's invisible in her classroom. Megan has an open mind to finding the path that best suits the needs of her individual learners in her class, and to me, she represents the best that Bloomington has to offer. So thank you very much for your efforts, Megan. I would also, I have the honor of recognizing Christy Wabama. Christy has been selected for the award as a result of her work as both a school leader and as a district leader in educational technology. As a media specialist, she instructs students on how to use innovative tools such as Google Apps for collaborative projects, but also how to ethically use technology by teaching the district's online safe and online smart curriculum. Besides teaching, Christy provides professional development and technology integration to staff and is also the building webmaster. At the district level, she serves on the Elementary Literacy Steering Committee and is the Elementary Media Director Lead. Christy embraces new technology and is both SMART and Google Apps certified. She approaches new work with a positive attitude and a willingness to try new technology to meet the needs of her students. These reasons and so many more make Christy Wabama an exceptional teacher. It's an honor to work with both of them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We're 2 shy teachers. All right. This particular spot on our agenda, we hold open for anyone who wishes to address the school board on an item that is not on tonight's agenda. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to do so? All right. I don't see anyone. Before we let the guys in the back get away, government classes at board meetings. A requirement of our 12th grade government class is to observe a governmental meeting of some sort, things that they may attend, or city council meetings, school board meetings, courtroom proceedings, etc. The social studies curriculum guide identifies essential standards, one of which is to understand the role and influence of political process and organizations by examining the role of interest groups, think tanks, the media, and public opinion on political process and public policy formation. As the board chair, I would like to recognize the students that are hiding in the back row, and I would ask that you come on up to the podium here. Just tell us what your name is, and if you're hiding in the front row as well. Come on up, tell us what your name is, who your teacher is, and what school you attend.
Hi, I'm Yoel Oliva from Jefferson High School. My teacher is Miss Abby.
Hi, I'm John Nowinski from Jefferson High School. My teacher is Mr. Storlene.
Okay, I'm short, so I'm going to lower that. Hi, I'm Hennessy Garcia Fisher. I'm a senior at Jefferson High School, and my teacher is Mr. Storlene. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rachel Swanton, and I go to Jefferson High School, and my teacher is Mr. Storlene.
Hi, my name is Amanda Tressler. I also go to Jefferson High School, and I also have the teacher, Mr. Sterling.
I'm Kelsey Felice. I'm a senior at Jefferson High School, and my teacher is Mr. Storlene.
Hi, I'm Allison Bermonti. I also go to Jefferson High School, and I'm a senior, and my teacher is also Mr. Storlene.
All right, thank you very much. I know Mr. Storlene will be happy to see that half his class is here tonight. You're welcome to stay for the whole meeting, although the requirement is only that you're here for an hour. So the meeting started at 7, so at 8:01, if you want to find a member of the cabinet to get a signature on your agenda, that's fine. Again, you're welcome to stay for the whole meeting. Thanks for coming. Okay, now we get into a once-a-year, very long agenda. We're going to try and work through this as quickly as we can. So I'm looking at Roman numeral 7 here, organizational for 2014. And
Mr. Chair,
yes,
I'd like to move acceptance of Part A of number 7.
so moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Sorry, am I reading these? No. Okay. So we're going to go A through J then. We're just going to cover A. Okay. All right, does anyone have any questions on this particular portion of the agenda? No questions. We move to vote for acceptance of Part A. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
It was unanimous, right?
Yes.
Share something? Mr. Chair, I'd like to share for the viewing audience that this sets the meeting schedules for the coming year, for this year, not the coming year, for this year. School board meetings traditionally started at 7, and study sessions school board meetings have started at 7 o'clock. We're going to be making a change. Some of the meetings will be starting at 6:30, and study sessions may be starting at 6:30. Those will be posted, and the public will be given notice of the start times.
So those of you that are used to coming here at 7, just keep an eye out for the meeting times. All right. Now,
Chair?
yes, Tom.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move that we accept Part 7 of our agenda, Parts B through J.
Second.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. All those in favor? What we're going to do is, this is essentially, we'll approve all of this in one vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. So what we did for you keeping score at home is we approved this all the way to the back here. Then we move to Roman numeral number 8, which is Part A. This is a standard business. We do this with a consent agenda, or a consent vote.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Director
I'd like to
Bartolotta.
move Part A.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Anyone have any questions on Part A? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Now we move to Part B.
I'd like
Yes.
to make a motion here, resolve that the School Board of Independent School District Number 271 establish graduation exercises for the 2013-2014 school year on the following dates. Jefferson High School, Tuesday, June 10th, 2014 at 7 p.m., and Kennedy High School, Wednesday, June 11th, 2014, at 7 p.m. Furthermore, the School Board of Independent School District 271 establishes the locations for the 2013-2014 graduation exercise at Mariucci Arena at the University of Minnesota and approves the facility use agreement with the Regents of University of Minnesota for the aforementioned dates.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any conversation here? Well, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Assistant
thank you.
Superintendent Chris Lennox, we have
Chairman
to.
Bergstrom, Superintendent Fujitaki, members of the board, just a little bit of background on this. The resolution tonight is asking for your approval of the contracts for graduation ceremonies at the University of Minnesota this year. Unfortunately, our traditional venue of the Minneapolis Convention Center Auditorium was unavailable, and so we have to move for this year. And what you have in front of you is the agreements with the University of Minnesota to move there for the 2014 ceremonies.
Anyone have any questions? Otherwise, we can move to a vote. All right? No? Yes,
I
Director Sorum.
think I have some questions because it's so out of what we've done in the past to have it at a ice rink, but then obviously they'll have the floor covered or whatever the arrangements are made, and the board's down.
And
the
no
board's all-
skates.
The board's all down because, right, as board members attending, it's going to be difficult for us to take in all of that. But have they done this before? I mean, there's other places that they have at Northrop Auditorium and a variety of other places at the University of Minnesota.
Right, yeah. Mariucci has been used by other high schools. In fact, our administration, both Kennedy and Jefferson, looked at the venues and said they believe this is the best alternative venue. If we could, in the future, we'd love to go back to the Convention Center Auditorium. We think that meets our needs the best. Just was not available this year for us, so that's why we're moving this year.
Okay, and then to follow up, have they established any cost?
Costs are relatively similar. I think it's about $3,000 more at the U of M, but given the alternative venues, that was probably the best we thought we could do.
But then the student cost
Yeah,
for graduation
I don't have
is
that
being
in
worked
front of
out.
me, but yes, yeah, each high school works with their students to do that.
Right, thank you.
All right, well, I'm sure sitting on the ice, the students won't sweat quite as much when they're waiting for their diplomas.
Correct.
All right. Move to vote and to accept this. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Of those opposed? All right, thank you. Next up is the lease agreement with Hub Property, and Rod Zivkovich is going to share some information on that.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Be it resolved that the School Board of Independent School District 271 approves a 124-month lease between Hub Property Trust, the landlord, and ISD 271, the tenant. The lease is effective from the first day of September 2014 to the last day of December 2024.
Second.
Moved and seconded.
Chair Bergstrom, Superintendent Fujitaki, board members, here tonight. A long process that we've been going on probably for 20 years, at least that amount of time. We have in this lease agreement a 10-year extension onto what we have currently in place. So we're very happy with it. I have to thank other administrators, Eric Melby, Tom Holton, and also our realtor, Neil Peterson, for all the help and all the effort in coming to this conclusion. So we're very happy with what we've come up with.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions for Rod Zivkovich? All right, let's move to a vote. All those in favor of this resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any against? All right, thank you. We're going to keep Rod at the desk here, and our next one is Success Measures Report.
These are the success measures that we provide every year to the board on the financial aspects of the strategic plan. you look at the purpose of this presentation is to provide the board with the 2012-13 strategic measures E. As you can see here, it consists of the first one, which is our general fund 5% fund balance goal over multiple years. E2, which is our multiple other funds, food service, transportation, capital, community services. Our budget management is E3. E4 is annual revenue increase of the general fund. And then the next two are enrollment. And then, or the last two are enrollment overall. So if we start out with the first one with the general fund for the 12-13 year is at a baseline of 3 years. And what that means is that we have projected out the current year, 12-13, and the next 2 years out, we have that within our forecast that we will have the 5% fund balance goal being made during that period of time. The next category here is our fund balances of our other funds. As you can see, this is in the vision area, food service at the 1.9, transportation at the 2.9, capital 5.2, and community services at 3.2. This shows that these funds are being self-sufficient on their own, not taking away from the general fund to be able to support them like a lot of other districts have, the general fund supporting their individual funds like this. We've been able to have these funds be self-sufficient within their own fund balance. Our next area here is our budget management, and kind of looking at this as an overall. Our variance of the general fund is on the revenue, it's a 1.2%. Expenditures, negative 1.6%. The revenue end, as you see here, was additional revenue of special education and also, or the main thing was the special education revenue. In the expenditures, we had lower utilities and then also tuition costs for both special education and also career tech. Food service, the revenue was down about 6%. Expenditures were down about 11%. The lower expenditures were due to the lower revenue that we generated. And then also there were some deferred purchases that we went for this next year that will probably come back in 13-14 that we'll be making those purchases. Community services is a 1% and a 5.3%. And again, it's more of the revenue was pretty much consistent and their expenditures were just a little lower, basically managing their budget very well within the area. So you can kind of see a couple of the areas that we show that we're in a kind of a concern range. That concern range is more dealt with that we're net between our revenue and expenditures. We're still in a very good position that we met our budget needs as the audit was that was brought to the board on December 9th gave that information to the board. The next item is our annual revenue, and our annual revenue went up 7.6%. Mainly two aspects of that were that this was the first year of QComp revenue, which is $2.7 million, and the additional was an additional special ed revenue of $3 million, so that kind of makes up the whole 7.6% increase. The next area is our enrollment, and what this shows is overall our difference between our non-resident students going to Bloomington schools versus resident students choosing another school district. We had a plus 51 students, so we're in a growth range. So again, it's been pretty consistent right around that 150 to 170 type range for the last 3 or 4 years. The next success measure is looking at our overall number of students that come to Bloomington, whether it be non-public, homeschool, charter schools, and the rest, we're showing that we are at, this year coming in at a 81%, which is, or 85%, which is right around in the middle of the growth period. So again, all good news across the board on all the success measures within the financial aspects for 2012-13.
Great, thank you, Ron. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Zivkovich, as long as we have him up here? No questions? All right, thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
Good, now we're on to number 4, the Part B. We have a resolution to read.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
be it resolved that the School Board of Independent School District 271 will end efforts to agree upon a contract between our two organizations based on Whipfly's LLP's proposal dated October 2nd, 2013, and therefore all relations with Whipfly LLP will be terminated.
Second.
Motion and second. Any, yes,
Could I also ask if it's acceptable that the resolution point out that it's rescinding a prior approval of the Whipley proposal that came before the board in October?
okay, so this is rescinding the,
I just wanted to cross my Ts and dot my Is, or if
Gotcha.
that's what you're going to do.
yep,
If that's okay with...
I accept the amendment as stated.
Mr. Chair, so then should those words be added in there?
Yes. that's what-
Rescinding previous
Rescinding the
proposal
previous...
acceptance?
Rescinding the previous approval of the proposal.
That's Bennett, so I accept that.
So there's a second.
all right, we have a motion and a second. Any,
Is it all right with the seconder as well?
I'm sorry,
The seconder agrees.
sorry, I thought I heard that. Conversation? Yes.
Yes, I'd like to hear some reason why we want to, what's being recommended that we stop this proposal
All right,
from someone like, either from the superintendent or from legal.
David, would you like to take the part about not being able to reach agreement on terms?
Well, I certainly can. I mean, as far as the legal issues are concerned, once we got their contract, after the board approved their proposal, as part of the process we go through, we vet it and pointed out numerous items that we couldn't accept. And we sent that back to the Whipley representatives in early November. And they came back with a slight modification, but still didn't change a lot of things that, from a legal standpoint, we wouldn't recommend the board approve a contract that had those in there. And I think maybe by now all the board members have copies of the correspondence that we had back in November. We never again heard from them. I don't know what to say. It's a little odd from that standpoint that we've got no response. I don't know if he responded to the administration or not, but not to us.
superintendent, yes.
They didn't respond to us.
So we're looking at something that, some language that was sent in November, and we asked for some revisions and didn't hear back.
Right, and if you're not going to go ahead with their proposal, it does make sense to consider rescinding it, because you still have that approval of their proposal out there. And you'd hate to, I don't know if you plan to hire another consulting firm, or maybe you don't, but you would hate to be surprised where 5 months later they come back and say, okay.
Sure.
So just to be clean about the whole process, I would recommend you do something.
Okay, and so we're asking tonight with this resolution to sever ties.
It's your choice. If you are going to do that, I just wanted to make sure you were also rescinding the prior resolution.
All right? Yes, Director Korman.
Yes, just a question. Okay, so what I'm understanding right now is that we never got response on the, when the district or when you requested that some changes be made to the language of the contract. So there was never a response from WIFLIP. Did they ever give any indication of why they would not accept to change some of that language?
Well, that's the odd thing. We just never heard back from them. Usually that does happen. When we send out something and say we want this change, and this change, and our insurance company requires these changes, we usually get some response back saying that, well, we can cover the insurance issue this way, or we can handle some of your objections this way, but we never got anything. So it's been, what, 2 months now, and no response.
Did we ever try to maybe contact them again during this year to see where we were at that with this contract at that point?
I don't know about this year since January 1st, but yes, we did try to contact them. I don't know what to tell you. It's just one of those odd things where I've gotten no response. I shouldn't say me. My father's the one who handled most of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say that's very unfortunate because, since we all got to hear the presentation from WIFLIP that night, it was a very attractive proposal. My concern now would be then what are we going to do now if we are not going to move ahead and work with WIFLIP, as we were hoping that we could get some that we could get a facilitator that could actually help the board work and having setting goals and go through the plan of aligning that vision that we have with our strategic directions and working as a board.
Yes, Superintendent.
At our upcoming January 27th study session, administration will be bringing forward a recommendation on how we need to set goals for both the board and the superintendent, and it's going to be based on the state mandated new requirement of developing a world's best workforce plan. And we're going to be bringing forward a proposal from administration to the board on how we will go about doing that. The state has mandated goals for all school districts, and we will be talking to the board about that and how we meet the requirements of satisfying the new law.
So are we at that point going to be maybe discussing the options of maybe having a facilitator that can help both the administration and the board with that?
We will be making a recommendation that the board have a retreat to do that work. And we will be making a recommendation on the use of a facilitator.
Sure.
Yes,
So
Director Sorum.
it's rather timely then that we rescind the previous proposal as we head into some new goal setting suggested or recommended or mandated by the state as we go forward, because I think there's a deadline for some of these other goals to be done in March. So at that point, I guess, with the administration working with whatever facilitating group or something like that within our own internal organization or outside as a one-shot deal rather than the WIFLIP proposal, which was for like 6 to 8 months long. So we have to do some things quick.
Okay. Any other dialogue before we move to a vote? All right, all those in favor of severing ties of this particular resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay. I believe I heard everyone. Motion passed. All right, that covers Part B agenda. So now we move on to board member reports. I know that this particular spot will be filled with quite a few things, but since our board is brand new and may not have had a lot of opportunities, I'll go around the table here just to see what we've all been up to. Director Steigoff, have you been to anything?
I'm going to ask to sit in a different chair. You start with me every time. I did attend the Early Childhood Parent Advisory this week, and that was the first time that I've been with that group of parents for a number of years, so it was very interesting and doing a lot of work there.
Great.
I've been reintroducing myself to several schools and going through the process. One thing maybe I should mention is that the Transportation Department, I don't know if it'll pop up in a study session or workshop or not, but they're anxious to meet the new board members as well as some of the veteran board members at their facility to explain, you know, especially during the wintertime, how the buses operate, the whole transportation, when I'm looking at the maps and so forth. So it'll be about a 1-hour deal, so just as a thought that that's what we should probably include in a workshop or special session also.
All right.
Well, like Director Steigoff, I too was able to attend the parent advisory meeting on Thursday, and it's kind of interesting because I've been part of the parent advisory committee for about 5 years now, and as a parent, and now as a school board member, because I'm the early childhood representative, so it's kind of a different hat, so that was a little interesting. And I just wanted to remind everybody that this coming Thursday is our preschool open house at all of our locations from 6 to 8, so at Pond and at Southwood, and our Richfield location, which is at Central. So if you have any questions about preschool or want to see the programs, it's a good time to do it, meet the teachers, and I think everyone needs to be aware that there is a lot of more funding options for preschool, and there's a lot more scholarships available. So if the only barrier from you sending your kids to preschool is financial, I would encourage you to call the preschool office and fill out the application for scholarships and see what happens. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Maureen?
None of my committees have met yet, but this Wednesday morning we'll start the new year with labor management. And also, I want to mention that we'll all be attending the MSBA State Convention or Conference this week, Thursday and Friday, at the Convention Center.
Yes, we will. All right, Rick, anything?
Are we going to zero?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Sorry. Yes, I'm also looking forward to attend the MSBA Leadership Convention, and looking forward to learn a lot more this year. And I had the opportunity of attending the Kennedy High School information meeting for our future high schoolers. And I was really impressed with how much the Kennedy staff is encouraging the kids to, go for more, for really, raise their own bar, which is really nice.
Okay, now we'll go to Director Oliva.
I was able to attend the Jefferson versus Kennedy swim meet last Friday, where my nephew, who's here in the second row, was swimming. And it was really tough because he swims for Jefferson, but I went to Kennedy, so it was really hard to determine who I should be cheering for. And then Saturday was the Jive and Connection Spaghetti Dinner / fundraiser over at Jefferson. So that was what I was up to this week.
All right, well, I didn't see you there. You must have come after me. So I went to the monthly PTSA council meeting, which was on Wednesday. And I was also at the Jefferson Spaghetti Dinner. I'm still waiting to hear if I won the television. My phone number's in the phone book. Also, I'd like to make mention that the school board is going to host a pancake breakfast, and that is coming up, I believe, on February 22nd. 22nd, it will be at Applebee's on Lindale, and that'll be from 8 to 10. So you'll have an opportunity to meet and greet your brand-new school board members as we take your coat and guide you to a table. And the funds that we gather from there will go to a good cause, which is yet to be determined. So please mark that on your calendars for something fun. And that's all I have. Superintendent.
Good, thank you. Congratulations to all the new board members. And on behalf of the school community and our administration, I want to thank all your families for sharing you with us to fulfill this important community service responsibility. In my time as superintendent, Monday night's organizational session was one of the best ever. Everybody was very professional and respectful, so congratulations. And you have my appreciation. You're off to a great start. Just a heads up for everyone that this summer there'll be quite a bit of construction going on all our facilities. You'll be hearing more information about that. The work will deal with implementing our safety security plans, addressing deferred maintenance issues, and preparing our sites for all-day kindergarten. So that concludes my report. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Just want to make mention that I did my prep and practice work in front of our cat at home, and she does not give me the same feedback as a live audience. So please bear with me. I'm sure I'll do better next time. Does anyone else have anything? Yes, Dr. Sorum.
Mr. Chair, could we go through the calendar for the month of January for meetings?
Sure. We have a meeting coming up on the 27th.
None on the 21st. 27th. And then maybe as a reminder, because I'll be heading out of town the first week in February, if anybody has any plans or times that they won't be here to let our Deb Bunkle know about the plans. So in the next few months, whatever vacation schedules or meeting times or something that you might be missing, please advise her about that. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Yes.
I would appreciate it if the chair would consider appointing a board member to a mediation session that is temporarily scheduled for January 29th in St. Paul. It's got to be someone who can spend, I'd say, most of the day and enjoy being in a room with Rod and an attorney, but...
And this is for District 287?
This is for the 287 withdrawal. We're looking at a mediation session to try and work out things. I don't know if we'll be successful or if it'll just be a long, dull day, but in any event, I do need a board member to volunteer for that hazardous duty.
All right, and that date again?
January 29th, I think that's Wednesday.
29th, okay. Do we, before I point around, do we have any, Director Sorum, are you volunteering somebody or yourself?
Yeah, myself. I've been involved with that for a while, and I am free, and I mentioned that to Kingsley the other night, too, so we'll make it official then, and I will volunteer if acceptable to the chair.
It's fine with me. Thank you for offering your time.
Should I bring a book then, or just...
Yes.
Okay, seeing no other business, I think we can call this meeting to adjournment. Thank you all for hanging in.